Good morning. My name is Natalia and this is my colleague Ivana. And your names are?
Sebastián Ortiz.
Tisha Flores.
Thank you. First of all, we'd like to know something about you. Sebastian, where are you from?
I'm from Mexico, specifically from Villa de Álvarez, Colima.
What do you do here?
Uh, I usually go take a walk or go with the bicycle, I guess. I don't like to stay in my home very much because it's pretty boring. But usually, I also go to the CAE classes because our teacher requests us to go.
Okay, thank you. Tisha, how do you most enjoy spending your free time?
I really like reading. Like, I think it's one of my favorite hobbies. I really like reading fantasy books because I think they're the best book. I also really like romance books, but fantasy are my top one. And I also really like listening to music. Is the thing I do the most. I listening to music when I go to the bath, like I bath, when I doing my homework, when I exercising. I also really like exercising. I go to the gym like every day, also in the weekends, because I think is the thing that relaxing me the most and help me to free my mind from the homework and the school.
Does music play an important role in your life? Why or why not?
Yes, as I said, I do most of my activities with music, and I also think every time I remember something, I associate it with a song. I also associate persons, like no people, with songs, such as when I met a guy, I usually like remember him with a song. The last guy, I remember him with the song called "Walking on a Dream of Empire of the Sun" because it's a song I like and he likes too. So he like our song.
Thank you. Part 2. Doing a sport. In this part of the test, I'm going to give you each of you three pictures. I'd like you to talk about two of them on your own for about a minute, and also to answer a question about your partner's voice. Pictures, sorry. Sebas, it's your turn first. Here are your pictures.
Okay, in the first picture, I see like uh, grandpa and her granddaughter playing baseball. I guess they're playing just for fun and they're not training for anything. In the second picture, I see a muscular guy in the treadmill. It seems to be in the gym, and he also doesn't seem to be training for in a specific sport or something like that. In the third picture, I see a bunch of people riding their bikes. I can tell that they are in a race or something like that because they have like a uniform and they seem to be very focused on the race. I'm going to compare the second picture and the third picture. In the second picture, as I said, is a muscular guy that seems to be just doing sport because he likes it and not for a specific sport or a specific training, more like the third picture. Because in the third picture, if it's not a race, I think that they are training for a race or something like that to, I don't know, win a prize or something because they seem very focused and very, mm, yeah.
Thank you. Tisha, hmm, who do you think needs to train the hardest and why?
I think in the third person picture, the guys doing cycling need to train the hardest because they are doing a sport that requires a lot of effort. I'm not saying that playing baseball with your grandpa and doing exercise in the gym are not hard, but I think in comparison with the other two, cycling requires more, and also they look like they are really into it, so they must be like training really hard to do that. And also cycling required to know how to ride a bicycle, and the other one doesn't require any other skills. So yeah, I think the third one is the one that requires the hardest trained.
Thank you. Now, Bisha, here are your pictures. They show people celebrating different achievements. I'd like you to compare two of the pictures and say how important these people's achievements might be for their future and how they are feeling now.
Okay, so I'm going to compare the first two images. So the first one is a guy celebrating that he just graduated for, I don't know, maybe um his career or his degree. It seemed like he just passed that fine step of his life, and he seemed really happy because of course if you finish your career you're going to be real happy. And in the second one they also look really happy because they it looked like they are having a meeting and they are celebrating for an achievement they or milestone they have achieved. But I think the first one is the one that has the most greatest achievement because it's not the same finishing a career that finishing an activity with your partners and a business. And also they are feeling great because this decision might affect their future. In the first one, finish a career might affect the way his life is going to be because he's going to be a professionalist and he needs to start looking for a job. And in the second one they are just finishing a project, and I think their life is going to be the same because they probably are going to still working on the same job. So yeah, they might be feeling really well because at the end of the day it's a goal you finish.
Thank you. Now, Sebas, who should feel the proudest of their achievement and why?
I think that the guy in the first picture should feel most proud because he is graduating from his career that I don't know, but I guess it took him like 3 or 4 years maybe, and it is when his life is really going to begin because he he just finished all his studies that from university, and I said that he should feel most proud because in the other pictures they're uh, should feel proud, but not as proud as him because there are like minor achievements than the first picture that he's finishing his career.
Thank you. Part 3. Moving to a different country. Now I'd like you to talk about something for about 2 minutes. Here are some things people think about when moving to a different country for work, and a question for you to discuss. First, you have some time to look at the task. Now, talk to each other about how important things are when considering living in a different country.
I think the language is really, sorry, Sebas. I think the language is really important because if you're moving to a different country that doesn't speak the same language as you have to know how to, you're going to learn it. So you must, if you go to another country, learn at least the basic things to know how to communicate with others because going from zero is not going to help you at all.
Yeah, I agree with you. And also another thing that should be very important when you are arriving to a different country are the cultural differences. Because if you go to, I don't know, an Arabic country and you don't know their traditions or what is bad for them, you can offend them even if you don't have the 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 feeling of
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah. See, o sea, I mean, yeah, the same customs of the same religion also, because it's not the same going to a country that maybe like India that doesn't eat meat, like cow meat, or in the
Mhm,
case of the women, that we have to use a hijab. If you're going to an Arabic place, you have to adapt to that kind of circumstance, or you're going to be penalized in the country.
mhm.
Now, you have about a minute. Which aspect is the least important when moving to a different country for work?
I think one of the less important aspects could be distance from home country because if you have the mentality to actually go to a different country, you don't need to be worried or anxious about what would happen or yeah, what would happen in that different country and what could be different if you prepare yourself, it doesn't means that would be very important.
I agree with you. I mean, if you already take the decision to go to another country to work, you already know the distance, so you must be prepared to do that. So it doesn't matter if it's near or not. At the end of the day, you're not coming like really often. So you also can see your family by FaceTime, or like you don't need to have to be face to face to connect with your friends. There are other ways to keep in touch with your family. So internet is a really great way to do that.
Thank you. Part 4. Use the following questions in order as appropriate. Do you think that a competitive salary is a good reason to move abroad? Why or why not?
I think competitive salary is a good reason because if you put enough effort to uh, to achieve that salary and they moved you to a country that it's the the coincidence that is the country that you always wanted to visit, it could be very beneficiary for you.
I think yes, the money moves the world, but also it's important to know is the war is causing you a lot of stress or a lot of work to do and you're not prepared. Maybe you have to consider like good salary, but you are giving your free time, your mental health, so you need to be prepared to take the decision as this money costs my health or not. If you said yes, so you have to know the cost involved.
Some people find it difficult to balance their professional and personal lives. Why do you think that is?
If people with organizes themselves with the things that they want to do and the things that they need to do, I think the they will find a balance between all the work that they have to do and all the things that they would that they like.
Yeah, I think the same. I think as you as a professional, is when you start working, you have to know that you're not going to have the same free time that you have when you're a teenager, and you have duties to do, and you have to balance your professional time as a working or doing some professional things, and then with your friends or family you have to balance to have both of them. I know that sometimes it's really complicated to balance them because I don't know how to balance because I'm not working, but I know that I have in some time I'm going to work, and I have to be sure that I have spent that I will be able to spend time with my friends and also to do my duties.
Thank you. That is the end of the test.
Thank you.
Thank you.